If you're thinking about becoming a UGC creator in 2025, I'm sorry, but this video might ruin your day. We are going to be unpacking the rise of the UGC industry as well as what I predict is going to be its downfall this year. I'm also going to share what you can do to create a more sustainable business as an online creator and how you can prepare for the changes coming in this industry. If you're new around here, hi, hello, my name is Ellen. I'm a social media strategist and coach. My journey on the internet began over 15 years ago when I started a fashion blog. Since then, I've tried many different side hustles, and my dream has always been to just create content and make that a full-time job, and here I am today doing exactly that. This is actually the first video podcast episode that I am filming in my new content studio, which is super exciting. If you are watching on YouTube, you can enjoy a little sneak peek behind the scenes, but we're not quite finished yet, so I'm currently filming this and you're under a ladder. But we are slowly bringing this together, and if you're interested in a little bit more information or a little bit of the behind the scenes of building a content studio, I do have a little series that I've been posting on my YouTube channel, so I'll link that in a card above if you are on YouTube and down below in the show notes if you are listening on Spotify or Apple. Now let's dive into today's topic of UGC, and I want to start by discussing what it is I love about UGC, the pros of this industry, and why both creators and brands are loving it. In case you don't know, UGC stands for user-generated content. Originally, this was a marketing term coined to describe when customers or users would create content organically on social media about a product or a service, and the brand could repost it. Now it's kind of evolved into a whole industry where we have what we call UGC creators who are paid by the brand to create content that is then shared on their social channels or run in their ads. The way this has really taken off is because it's rooted in what people feel like more authenticity, right? UGC content comes across really authentic. It almost looks like a video that one of your besties has created, being like, oh my gosh, Ellen, I have a haul of new skincare that I want to show you. Like, it gives off that very natural, organic feeling, and that has ended up resonating with a lot of consumers and customers and increased sales for a lot of brands. So that has to be my first reason why I love UGC. I think it's been a game changer in our industry. It's had such a positive impact on businesses. They no longer have to spend tens and thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars on big high-scale productions. TV commercials or even radio ads are very expensive, and hiring a UGC creator, putting some money behind that video on a Facebook ad is a very affordable option, and I am all about that. I love how the internet as a whole has just made it so much easier for creative people to start businesses and really almost like leveled the playing field. Like, you don't have to have $1 million investment from your daddy to start a business in this day and age, and UGC is just another example of that. One thing I also love about the UGC industry is I think it's made brands really understand the value of content creation. Speaking as someone who was a blogger, YouTuber back in 2014, 2015, it was really hard to get paid for my work. And I would have, brands that would want to pay me like $200 for like 3 blog posts and a YouTube video. And at the time I was like, score, I'm a broke university student. I will take that deal. Thank you very much. But now that the industry of UGC has grown, this has had flow-on effects into every other industry that works with content creation, like influencer marketing. People understand the value of just creating a video on its own, because again, the idea with UGC is you're not sharing it on your own socials, you're giving it to the brand for them to share. So it doesn't matter how many followers you have, which again is another plus to UGC, a lower barrier to entry into a creative field. You can start making content, getting contracts with brands, and you don't have to have 10,000 followers. From a social media manager perspective in the last few years, it's also been really exciting because there's always been a pressure on social media managers to do the content creation and the social media management. I personally love this because, again, my history is rooted in content creation, but there's a lot of social media managers who do not want to be filming reels and making reels. They just want to be doing the strategy and the management, and that is totally doable. And now that people know they have to spend $1,000, let's say, on a UGC creator just to create content and not to do social media management, I feel like it's helped everybody level up their prices. I feel like people understand the value of both content creation and social media management more now. Overall, I think it's awesome because brands have finally realized that they cannot just repurpose everything from other marketing channels and platforms and just chuck it up on Instagram. I saw this a lot in the early days of my career when I'd have clients who'd be like, oh, cool, we did this photo shoot for our website. Can you just put this on Instagram? Or we filmed this YouTube video or this TV commercial. We have these other video clips. Can you just chuck it on Instagram? And now what we're seeing with UGC content is like this rise in brand content that is tailor-made for socials instead of just repurposing the leftover scraps of other advertising campaigns. However, we know that the title of this video is all about why UGC is not going to be the one, the thing to obsess and love over in 2025. And I do believe that this is an industry that isn't going to continue to accelerate and grow. And that is because there are some cons to the UGC world. Yes, we have proven that there's an industry for this. There's a demand for this. There's brands willing to pay creators for UGC content. However, from personal experience of offering this service as well, not just being an outsider, there's something that is fundamentally broken about the structure of a UGC business. It is set up to burn you out. As a creative person, we cannot constantly be making things. Like, we have to have our downtime. We have to have time to recharge those creative batteries. And I've seen this time and time again with UGC creators that I follow on TikTok, where they burn themselves out massively. And I really experienced this when I was offering UGC packages. Now, bear in mind, I was getting started in 2019, so we didn't actually have the term UGC creator. But the way that I started in social media management was actually making content packages. And I advertise them as, let me make content for you specifically for Instagram. It has a different look, it has a different feel to your website or to other advertising platforms. And I offered that purely from a place of fear because I was too terrified to actually do social media management for someone. I was like, oh, I don't want to log into your account and have that pressure. Let me just make some content for you. Little did I know that I was making UGC content packages. If I compare this to now, 5 years later in my business, I only have one client that I do UGC content creation for. And that is because I found it extremely exhausting. When I would have up to 10 clients that I was doing content packages for a month, I was so burnt out. I was having to constantly try and reinvent trends across all these different niches, across all these different clients. More often than not, newbies are also getting one-off contracts for content. You're not getting any sort of recurring retainer, meaning there's no sustainability to your business either. There's no reliability knowing that you've got a 6-month contract. And that is why personally, I learned very quickly to lean into social media management services because that did give me that reliability, that stability. It also enabled me to take more time off in my business when I needed to recharge those creative batteries. There is also a second reason why I believe the UGC business model is fundamentally broken, and that is because there's only so many brands you can work with. Now, I don't want to be that, passive revenue girly who's talking about, make digital products. You can only work with so many clients, number one, because of time, but number two, because of the fact that you're putting your face out there, the fact that you are the one advertising the product. So if you've made a video for one local skincare brand, you can't then go and make a video for another local skincare brand representing their products and selling their products because that is so inauthentic. So you have to really look outside at a variety of different niches. And I really think that when you have UGC creators who dominate the market, there comes like a tipping point where brands are like, okay, we actually can't work with this creator anymore because they're in every ad. They're in every UGC video and it's not good for us to use them. And this is a side of UGC that I don't think anybody talks about. And it links really nicely to my next point around why I really think there is a downfall coming of this industry. And that is the fact that consumers are catching on. The authenticity that made UGC so effective and so successful for brands and businesses is now starting to disappear. It was the authenticity and the organic nature of the content that was leading to conversions. Again, like I mentioned, it felt like a chill video that a friend had sent to you. It was casual, it was candid. People are seeing through that now. I saw this with a local UGC creator here in New Zealand that I love and that I follow, and I think her content is great, but she popped up in an ad for a quite well-known brand, and I went to look at the comments, and it was like only 20 comments to be fair, but 19 of them were all negative, and the majority of them were saying, oh my gosh, I keep seeing this girl everywhere. So number one, the problem we talked about previously. But number two, they were just picking apart her script and kind of making fun of it and being like, this is so fake. Like this, we all know that you're getting paid to say this. And that is something that I'm seeing more and more often on UGC content. And as soon as you start to lose the consumers, the customers, the videos will lose effectiveness. When they lose effectiveness, when they stop bringing in conversions, brands are going to stop using those UGC videos, which is going to lead to less of a demand for them when we have a really oversaturated market because of all the girlies that are getting on TikTok and being like,
this is the easiest way to make money online. This is the easiest way to get free product from brands.
And yes, it's easy for some who, number one, naturally have the skill and talent to produce good video content. But as we see a potential drop in demand for UGC videos as they become less effective, it means it's going to be, the UGC creators getting the jobs are going to be that top 5%, like the very best in their field. And that's not to discourage you guys watching or listening to today's episode. You could be that top 5%. You could be that excellent UGC creator that operates at a really high professional level, who creates high converting videos because you understand marketing strategy, you understand consumer psychology and all of that stuff. But what really motivated me to record this episode was because I'm so sick of seeing the videos being like, UGC is the next big thing and UGC is the greatest and it's so easy to get started, because it's not. And I think we need to weigh up the pros and cons of this industry and have a look at its longevity before we invest all of our time, energy, and money into creating a UGC business. So my concluding thoughts is that yes, there will still be a place for freelance content creation. Brands cannot do it all themselves. But I think the UGC business is just being a bit overhyped at the moment. And brands still continue to need help with their social media content. But if I was in your shoes, if I was starting a business today, if I was looking for a side hustle that could turn into a profitable business, I would not be looking at UGC. I would be looking at something like social media management with content creation packages. This is where you can get longer term contracts, again, bring in that reliability with your income and sustainability. And again, I know I'm biased because I love social media management. I still have my own social media management clients, and I obviously have a program called the Dishing Up Digital School, which is all about how to become a social media manager. But the reason why I do all this, the reason why I have so much joy making content around business, educating and coaching others, is because I know how much this business, becoming a social media manager, changed my freaking life. And I know if I tried to stick to those content packages, that UGC style of content that I was offering in the early days of my business, and just had that as my sole revenue stream, I would not be where I am today. And I also want to say, up until last year, social media management was still my dominant income stream. Those one-to-one services with clients, getting people in on strategy packages, on management packages, and content creation packages. Then I obviously diversified my income by creating, a whole other business, this content studio, and that's for another video, but also for creating digital products. And this is exactly why in my course, the Dishing Up Digital School, I do teach you how to do all of that. It's not just social media management. It's about really building a robust and long-term business. And I think a creator who wants to be successful in 2025 and beyond should be looking at diversifying their income streams and looking at creating really juicy, attractive packages for clients, whether that includes a bit of management, includes a bit of strategy, includes a bit of content creation. But the idea is to get people onto long-term contracts, to be producing great content that gets results for them, and being competitive, standing out in your industry, standing out in what is becoming an oversaturated industry. So no, UGC isn't going anywhere. Like, it's not going to die off, but I think it's going to definitely change how it looks. The format, the feeling, the structure is going to change, and it definitely is going to get more competitive. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode about UGC. If you have any thoughts and feelings, always feel free to DM me on Instagram. Make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube if you're watching the video, or subscribed following on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We upload new podcast episodes every Monday. And if you are keen to learn about becoming a social media manager in 2025, I'm going to link below my free webinar and the special March promo that I'm running on my program, the Dishing Up Digital School. Thanks for listening, guys. Catch you next week.